Okay, now what I'd like to do is slide down here to the things that we should know about this application. So from the routes documentation, an HTTP application is a collection of routes, all of whose errors have been handled through conversion into HTTP responses. That's a little bit of an unusual wording, and I actually prefer what we had up here, where we talk about ZIO HTTP is designed in terms of HTTP as a function, and when we're writing the server side, it's a function from a request to a response. So I think that's a better description than this note that I found earlier. The next thing to know is that the combination of the method right here and that URI or path is what creates a route. So as I showed up here, hello route is a route. And that's what I mean by this sentence right here. Then this symbol creates a two-element tuple, also known as a key-value pair or a mapping. And that's what I showed in the REPL example over here. And that's that symbol right there. That's what I'm talking about now. Then the handler here creates a request handler, and that is this function right here. And in a future video, I'm going to show many different ways to handle the right side of the expression here, or the right side of our key value mapping over here. Then as I mentioned, server.serve app starts the HTTP server with the routes that you pass in with those defined routes. Then provide server default injects the default server dependencies. And as mentioned, we'll get to more details on that in, I believe, the next video. And it runs on port 8080 by default. So there's no way you can know that by looking at this code, but it runs on port 8080 by default. And now what I want to do is comment out this code up here, because I have some replacement code for all of this down below. So we'll comment that out. And let us enable the code down here, like that. So I had in my mind I was going to show this root route in a future video, but I'm actually showing it here. So let me reformat this real quick. I'm not sure what I was doing there. At the moment, I don't remember why I had it formatted that way. But what I wanted to show is that this was the route that we had in the previous example. So let me move that one up there. That's the first route you really want to look at, is right there. So we're handling the get method on /hello. Then what I wanted to show next was this home route. So that is the get method. And the way you define the home route, like when I first was working with ZIO, I thought, well, maybe I'm supposed to put that in there. But no, you don't put that in there. And instead, you put that root value right there. And that value comes from ZIO HTTP. So now I have a text response over here for this one. And I have a text response when you go to the root URI. And here in this next example, what I'm going to do is handle a get method on the JSON or JSON URI. And then the handle over here is going to be a JSON response. So up here, I'm doing a text response. Here, I'm going to start doing a JSON response. And you can see that I put the JSON in there. And one thing I should know, and the reason I'm scrolling over here, is for the previous examples, when you call that curl command, you will see the content type is text plain. And now when I give you a JSON response, that same content type now will be application/JSON, and you'll see that over here in just a moment. And I told you that an application is just a collection of routes, and indeed that's what it is. I defined these 3 routes right up here, and then you put them inside of routes. So again, routes is just this list or collection of routes. And I have been calling this app. I really don't like that personally. I'd rather just call it something like routes. Because when you look at this, you could say, oh, okay, now I'm starting the server and I'm going to serve these routes, or I'm going to handle these routes. So I am going with that name this time, and then we provide server.default just like we did last time. So let me save that and make sure I still kept the object part up here. Okay, yeah, we did. So we have the object part up there, and then the rest of the application is here. I have to kill that and restart it. So let's go ahead and run that, see if I made any mistakes. Okay, that all looks good. We got server started right there. And I'll go back here and say I want to go to hello, just like we did before. Make sure we get a response. We do. We get the 200 okay. We get the hello route. Now we are handling the root part right here. So I can take that off, and we get an okay on that one. And then the third route we're handling is the JSON one. And again, these are all get method requests. These are not posts or deletes or anything like that. And you can see again, we get the 200 okay, and there's the JSON we get back from the server side. And now if I give a bad value here, a bad URI, you'll see that we get the 404 not found error. So with all of this, you're starting to see how easy it is to get started with ZIO HTTP. All you do is define the routes that you want to handle, like I've done here, put them inside of routes, and then serve them. It really what's going to happen in the real world is you're going to spend most of your time working on these handlers over here. You're going to be creating custom handlers to handle every route over here. But for us, just getting started like this, you can see how easy it is. With just a few lines of code, what do you have? 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe 7 to 10 lines of code, depending on how you want to count that. We have a running application server. We're handling 3 routes and we're returning 404 for every other route. And again, that's in like 7 to 10 lines of code. So I think that's pretty cool. So as I note up here, this file is called 100 Basic Server, and that's because we're just getting you started with the basics of ZIO HTTP. And in the next video, we're going to start taking a few more steps with ZIO HTTP.